There is a saying floating around Jamaica, and it has been repeated by many people for many generations. Now, this saying goes that Jamaica got electricity before the United States. Some people might even go as far as to say that St. Elizabeth was the first place in the Western Hemisphere to get electricity. Have you ever heard any of these sayings before? Let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, so today's video, we're gonna be looking at how did Jamaica really get electricity? And we're gonna be answering a very important question also. I'm gonna be breaking down why electricity in Jamaica is so expensive, like really breaking it down. And after that, finally, we're gonna find out if Jamaica really got electricity before the United States. This video is gonna shock you, so you don't wanna miss it. And please stay around to the end. If you find videos like these interesting or informative, you can give it a thumbs up. And remember, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, you can do that now.
When you really think about it, electricity is one of those things we take for granted until we see the JPS bill. But electricity isn't just about cost or frustration. It's about history, innovation, and a little bit of audacity. Now picture this, late 1800s. America is buzzing with a new era. Streets lit with lamps, factories humming, and Thomas Edison calling himself the father of electricity.
The filament of the first fractional incandescent lamp which I invented was of carbonized cotton thread.
Meanwhile, Jamaica is still a small British colony. Roads rough, towns slowly growing, and the idea of flipping a switch and having light appear, that would have been science fiction. Yet, somehow in true Jamaican fashion, we didn't wait around. Kingston and St. Elizabeth got lights faster than you would expect. Faster than most of America, if you look at who could actually light up streets and homes. And then there are the human stories, the Leydens of Black River, powerful merchants, port operators. They were the movers and shakers of their time. And guess what? They didn't wait for permission from colonial authorities. They brought in a generator and lit up their home like a private lighthouse in the Caribbean. Meanwhile, Tesla is dreaming up the modern world, but dying broke in a hotel. And Jamaica is quietly flipping switches and lighting homes while the empire looks the other way. It's fascinating, really. Electricity isn't just wires and bulbs. It's a story of ingenuity, privilege, and yes, a little myth-making too. So by the end of this video, trust me, you might never look at your JPS bill the same way again. Before we dive further into Jamaica's history with electricity, it's important to understand why that monthly JPS bill can be such a shock. Now, Jamaica relies heavily on imported fuel, primarily oil, to generate electricity. In our power plants, this fuel is burned in either combustion engines or gas turbines. The oil is combusted to create heat, which either powers a turbine directly or generates steam to turn a turbine. These turbines connect to generators that convert mechanical energy into electricity. The amount of electricity generated is directly proportional to the amount of fuel burnt. So when demand is high, more fuel is needed and costs rise. Plant efficiency also plays a role. Older or less advanced technology requires more fuel to generate the same amount of electricity. Transmission losses can account for up to 15% of electricity produced, further increasing costs. Add in limited competition with JPS as the sole provider, infrastructure vulnerabilities, and the need for upgrades like underground power lines, and it's no wonder electricity in Jamaica is expensive. All of these factors combined make that monthly bill a complex reflection of the realities of energy generation on a small island economy. Alright, make my case go back to 1892 now. So in 1892, Kingston became one of the first Caribbean cities to implement public street lighting using a steam power generator on Gold Street. This achievement positioned Jamaica ahead of many European and Caribbean locations in terms of public electrification, despite its status as a small British colony with limited infrastructure investment. The rollout of electricity in the United States contrasts sharply with Kingston's rapid adoption. By 1908, only 10% of US households had electricity. 50% were electrified by 1924, and a full national coverage did not occur until the 1940s and 50s. So in this context, Kingston's 1892 public lighting illustrates Jamaica's advanced pace of adoption relative to contemporary industrialized nations. In 1893, the Leyden family of Black River installed a private electricity generator at their residence Waterloo, just a year after Kingston's public lighting. The Leydens were influential merchants and shipping operators, enabling them to import advanced technology directly rather than relying on colonial authorities. While some historical accounts claim Black River was the first place in Jamaica to receive electricity, it is important to distinguish between private and public electrification. Kingston had public streetlights in 1892, making it the first public implementation. Black River's private system was limited to the Leyden household and nearby lamps. The Leyden's initiative reflects broader patterns of elite-driven technological adoption in colonial societies. Wealth and commercial influence often allowed local elites to implement innovations independently, setting early benchmarks for infrastructure development that the wider population could not access immediately. Now, we need to understand that the Leyden's generator used DC electricity, which was sufficient to power household lighting, but lacked the scalability of Tesla's AC systems. In contrast, AC networks in the United States during the same period could transmit electricity over kilometers, supporting public lighting and industrial operations. This technological distinction clarifies the nature of Jamaica's early electrification. While impressive in adoption speed, it was on a smaller technical scale compared to the AC networks that were emerging globally. Nonetheless, the Leyden's initiative demonstrated local agency and adaptability in implementing modern technology, illustrating the colony's capacity to participate in global technological trends despite structural limitations imposed by British colonial governance. Alongside electricity, some national narratives suggest that Jamaica had railways before the United States. Historical evidence refutes this. The United States developed railroads in the 1820s to the 1830s, while Jamaica's first line commenced in 1845, making it the second in the Western Hemisphere. Though narratives may be distorted for national pride, Jamaica's rail infrastructure still represents a significant achievement for a small colony in a global context. A comparative examination of electrification timelines highlights Jamaica's achievements. The United States. First public power station, 1882 at Pearl Street. Slow household adoption, 10% by 1908. Full electrification mid-20th century. Kingston, Jamaica. Public street lighting, 1892. Rapid adoption relative to local population and colonial constraints. Black River, Jamaica. Private household electricity in 1893. Early adoption by local elite. So while the US led in invention and large-scale infrastructure, Jamaica's early adoption of electricity, particularly in Kingston and the Black River, positions it as a notable case of rapid implementation outside Europe and North America. So Jamaica did not invent electricity, nor did it surpass the United States in technological development. However, it was among the first regions globally to adopt electricity in public and private contexts, achieving rapid implementation despite colonial marginalization and resource limitations. Kingston's public lights in 1892 and Black River's private generator in 1893 illustrate a sophisticated engagement with modern technology and early adoption patterns that challenge misconceptions about the country's role in electrification. Jamaica's experience demonstrates that innovation is not solely about invention, but also about adoption, implementation, and the ability to act independently within structural constraints. St. Elizabeth's Waterloo home remains a symbol of local initiative, while Kingston's public lighting highlights the colony's forward-looking engagement with modernity. Jamaica may not have invented electricity, but it certainly moved faster in using it, and that's a legacy that deserves recognition. If you found this video interesting or informative, then you can give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to Elite Jamaica, consider doing so, as that really does help the channel. I don't know if the video will sound different or how it will sound because I'm using a mic setup that I've never used before. So forgive me, guys. Alright? Everyone, stay blessed.